All right. I don't know if anyone's on yet or not, but welcome to StokedMeter.com, the Kyle Schmidt instructional episode. This is my monthly instructional video chat. So if anybody's watching, just go ahead and ask me questions. I'm here at the LearnWake.com offices, representing humanoid wakeboards, the wakeboard camp, LearnWake, UGP. Today I'm going to kind of go over my boards and show you the features of our boards that I have back here. People have been asking a lot of questions in the past, wanting to see them, want to get their hands on them. So hopefully I can show you some stuff about them, and hopefully we can get them into your hands here pretty soon. So I'll just wait for the first question, and hopefully we'll have a good show. All right. Anyone out there? Anybody got any questions, wakeboard instruction questions? Any tricks they're working on that they want help with? Um, Questions about boat wading? You name it, I'll answer it. BMR, I'm working on my back rolls. All right, we got our first question for tonight. Keep landing on my heel side edge and falling backwards. Usually what this is um, it's not necessarily that you're leaning back too much. Usually what happens is riders, they actually turn just a fraction towards 180. And then that little bit of a sliding motion gets perceived as falling back, but you're actually hitting the water kind of with the wrong board position. So what you can do is you can move the handle out towards the flats, out away from the wake with either one hand, your front hand, or you can push it with two hands just out away from the wake. So I'm regular footed, so if I took off and did a back roll this way and then push the handle on the way down away from the wakes, that would stop my rotation and help force me back to the back roll landing position. So what's probably happening with you is you're probably like when you're coming down, the natural rotation of a back roll, it just wants to turn towards revert. Like revert or 180 is actually a more natural rotation. So you're probably turning just a fraction, and then that's making you kind of hit, slide, fall back. So if you move the handle left, if you're a regular footer, and then right if you're a goofy footer, that'll force you back to the proper board position and help you track when you land so you won't fall back. So hope that answers your question. It's almost like what you would do with the handle if you were just going to spin 180. If you push the handle towards the wake, that would make me spin this way. If I push the handle the opposite way, that would make me spin this way. So you need to just counter the spin that's happening. Actually, a really easy fix. A lot of people don't know they're supposed to move the handle right or left to fix a back roll landing. And most people that have it consistent don't even know that they're moving the handle to stop their rotation as well. So, yeah, you got to move the handle to stop your rotation. Good question. Very, very common problem. Most people, when they're learning that trick, or if they hit a brick wall, that's usually what's happening. It used to be, back in the day, we used to teach back rolls first, no matter what. That was the typical first flip. But nowadays, there's, tantrums, obviously a popular first flip to learn because it's just a simple back flip. But even easier is a one-handed approach toe side back roll. So, and we teach it on a long rope, and we teach it one wake with a one-handed approach. So, if you haven't tried that yet, slow the boat down, edge out, let go with your back hand, edge in with one hand, and just throw your head back off the top of the wake. Even if you can't do really good toe side jumps, you can still pop that trick enough to make it all the way around and land. So, might be another flip that you want to try. Excuse me. Thanks for breaking the ice on the questions, BMR. Anybody else got any questions? Or any other tricks you're working on, BMR, that you want to talk about? Cards, what's up? BMR, that would be sweet to land a toe side back roll before my first wake to wake toe side. Hey, actually, I mean, it's definitely not out of the picture. So, usually what you do is if you ride like 20 miles an hour, you slow the boat down 2 miles an hour to about 18. Move the rope, the rope out a little bit, make it longer so you have room to land in the middle, and just basically take off, push your hips forward, push them up into the air, throw your head back, do half the flip, and then let go of the rope and try to land your first one without the rope. That way, if you take a fall, the rope won't, rip you down onto the water. The fall won't be as bad. It's a good way to break the ice on the trick. If it goes well, proceed. Maybe try another one. If it doesn't, then it was a good test, and you have to work on your toe side jumps, get better at toe side jumps, and then come back to it. What's going on, Stag? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming. So, Cart, you notice I always do it backwards. Brought some humanoid boards tonight. Just got our new graphics in. Just got the finished material. As you can see, it's like nice and shiny. Really good. Colors pop really good. This is actually our 140 flex. It's got good flex. So, pretty excited about this. We're getting close. You guys should be able to have them in your hands here pretty soon. Thanks, Stag. Jake. I like the one that looks on the one on the right. Okay. So, I'm talking about this one or this one, because I'm a little confused on right or left with all the this camera, these viewfinders. The blue one, humanoid. That's actually, this is the Flex 143. It's actually been at the cable park a few times. It's holding up really good. You can see the edges have actually been hit pretty hard, but they're not delamming. They're just kind of wearing down, so that's really good. This board's actually been through the ringer, and it's holding up really good. Just a little bit of wear on the bottom, like the bottom material's good, and the urethane sidewalls and the epoxy and everything's holding up real good. It's not delamming. This is the Flex version, so got a little bit of flex in the tip and tail, kind of holds true through the middle, and then this is the 43. Oops, a little dirty. Just took my bindings off of it. This is actually the 43 stiff. These graphics are my favorite. I like these. But this thing's really stiff. I mean, you can't bend it. So this is for people who still like stiff boards, but they want that durable sandwich construction. So you can beat it up. Rides really good on the wake, just like a normal compression molded board. So really stiff. Can't even flex it. Holds true too. So I'm pretty excited about that. And these graphics, like I said, really like these graphics. So basically, we're calling this anti-flex, and that's flex. So same exact construction. One flexes, one doesn't for both for people who like both. So DFTR Josh, where is humanoid sold these days? You can buy them direct on the website. Right now, you can do a pre-order. We're not shipping quite yet. We should have a ship date here hopefully soon. Just waiting on a little funding to get the full manufacturing going. It's kind of tough times right now with the economy the way it is. So as soon as we get that, you guys will have boards in your hands. But if you want to pre-order one now, get first dibs. Just go to humanoidwake.com and you can buy. So. Yeah, we got cards. She said the graphics are rocking, and we got some really good artists. So we're pretty pumped on our artwork. If you go to the site, we're actually doing we're gonna have an art lab up pretty soon. That's gonna be pretty sick, where you can actually design your own board. So pretty excited about that. Jake, how much is a LearnWake membership? A LearnWake membership is $9.99 per month, which is extremely cheap to have access to a professional coach and professional coaching, or it's $99.99 a year, which actually saves you $20. So fairly cheap considering that like an hour with a professional coach is well over $100. So, and the cool thing is you can upload your videos and we'll analyze them for you. We have a video upload service, so pretty cool. You can definitely take advantage of professional coaching just right from your home and right from your location if you don't have any professional coaches in your area. We're actually running, we have a coupon code that you guys can use. If you go to learnwake.com, click the sign up button, and then it asks you if you have the coupon code or not. Click yes and enter Stoke Meter. All lowercase letters, just Stoke Meter, one word. And that'll give you a free week membership, 7-day pass. And so if you guys want to try it out for free, just to check it out and see what it's all about, go ahead and enter that coupon code, Stoke Meter. Let's see, Jake, what other coaches are on LearnWake? Well, Mike McClin and myself do a lot of the instructional videos, but we have a lot of the coaches from the wakeboard camp. We're trying to get other coaches and other camps involved. We're going to work on that pretty heavy in the off season. Hopefully, get a lot of the other camps and their instructors, their head coaches like Orlando Wake and Sean O'Brien. Hopefully, people like that and Kobe Mikasic and all those guys. Hopefully, we can get them to do their own instructional videos to help promote their camps and it'll be kind of like, we'll get more content for you guys, and they'll be able to get a little exposure for their camps as well. But right now it's mostly just all the guys, all the coaches at the wakeboard camp in Claremont, Florida, since that's my home base. That's where I'm head coach. So, um, Boston, I love what you guys are doing. Thanks. We're trying, we're trying to help grow the sport, trying to offer cheaper instruction to people. Just internet's the future for everything. So we're trying to just kind of, be. Mike and I have always been try to be the kind of front runners on instruction, try to do the newest, best things. So hopefully we can make this thing good for you guys. Let's see, DFTR Josh, what are you doing these days in the wakeboard industry? Well, um, this is kind of my baby right here. I shaped I get confused. I shaped these boards. The design is mine. Um, I've actually kind of kept this semi-secret to kind of keep people wondering. Actually, that's a bad example. Hold on a second. You can see it on this board, but my little shaping logo is right there. It's called Shapes, SCH, like my last name, Schmidt. So what I did with this board was I really like the forgiveness of a round tip board. So you can kind of see how this board has like a rounder perimeter shape. But what I did is I trapped a square tip board inside of a round tip board, so you still get a little bit more of that bite through the turn with this little ear right here. So if you chop this off and just came straight across, that would be like a square tip. And same thing with the side. So basically it's a round tip board with a little bit of a square tip bite. So when you go through turns, you'll get a little bit of bite on this corner, and it'll hook up. And then we put a concave through the middle. You can barely see it on the video, but it's a double concave, real simple. A little bit of flat out here on the side, so that way when you're grinding rails, you're not actually grinding on the whole bottom surface. You're just grinding on 3 points, the middle and both sides. Hopefully it'll help the bottom of the board hold up better, last longer at cable parks. And then it just flows out to a very simple back end, just a quad fin setup. Just like most molded fin boards, 4 fins is a great kind of push-pull on each side of the board. Really good setup for wakeboards. Allows you to do like 50-50s and nose presses since the middle is completely clear. We didn't put a fin in the middle just because you can still adjust the outsides. We're also including one thing that we're including on our boards is a kind of a spec symbol, and basically it shows you the length, the width, and the rocker. And this is something that I've always wanted on boards that a lot of companies never put that on there. So we're including the amount of rocker that the board has. And this is a 140 with 2.8 inches of rocker, says right there. So it's pretty cool. That's kind of our spec symbol. So good graphics, man. We're pretty pumped on our graphics and our shape. We dished out the tip and tail. You can see it's kind of like a bi-level dish right here. It's the top level is dished out a little bit just to lose weight on the tail, so you have less swing weight. And then it goes 2 step down here, so way at the tip it's really thin, which allows the board to really flex right here, but it also takes a bunch of weight out of the tip and tail. So all your weight is under your feet, so it feels more like you don't have any swing weight out to the sides, which should make it easier to spin, just make it easier to move the board around. So pretty excited about that. And then our sidewall tapers. It's thicker in the middle, and then it tapers out thinner a little bit to the tip and tail, which also loses weight out towards the tip and tail. It's hard to see in the camera, but it starts thicker right here, and then it thins out towards the tip and tail. So, excuse me. So really pumped on our design. So that's DFTR, Josh. You asked what I'm doing in the industry right now. That's one of them. I'm doing product development for Humanoid. So hopefully we can I can get a bunch of shapes out on the market for you guys. And then I'm coaching full time, at the wakeboard camp on Learn Wake. Traveling around doing clinics here and there, and just doing everything that I'm still team manager, the wake team manager for Arnett too. So trying to help those guys, stay fitted with shades, and that's pretty much it. That and I have my wife and 2 kids at home that keep me busy, so I'm having a blast. What is the warranty on your boards? I believe we're doing a 1-year warranty, a 1-year full warranty. We're almost daring people to try to break these things. They're pretty bulletproof. So, um, I mean, we're pretty confident that it's going to be really hard for people to break these things. Uh, you can actually. I was doing this earlier. It's kind of jumping on it. So. We're pretty confident that you guys are going to have a hard time breaking these at the cable park, wearing them down, so have at it. I don't think you'll need the warranty. That's what I'm claiming. East Coast Rider, how old are the riders at the camp? If you're talking about, okay, what's the oldest age you can be? We've had a 75-year-old man come and take lessons and learn. He left, doing one wake 180, all kinds of one wake 180s and stuff, and he actually came to the camp when he was 72 and then repeatedly came back. So we get a lot of people. Our age demographic has actually come up. I need to get on camera. Has actually moved up just a little bit over the years. We used to get a lot of younger kids, and we still do during the summer, but during the off season in the fall and winter, we get a little bit of an older crowd from like 25 to early 40s. So, and then, randomly we get, older riders at the camp, and then obviously younger riders during spring break and summer. So, DFTR, does any chance you want to start and ride and share with your product? What? Oh. So I want to session that 140. I wish I could just send you out one, man. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get out some free demos and maybe do like a demo tour and stuff like that. Everything's definitely possible in the future. So we're gonna try to take this thing big. Let's see. Do you still upload new videos on LearnWake as the tricks get bigger, more progressive? Yes. I think I kind of know what you mean. We try to upload. Are you talking about, Jake, are you talking about the users uploading videos or the videos that we put up there? Because we try to upload content as much as possible. So, but you can upload any video and we'll analyze it. I'm not quite understanding the question, but let's see. East Coast Rider. So 19 isn't too old. Good to hear. 19? Man, that's young. Come on down. You'll learn a ton. Stag. How do I improve my cuts? A big part, we have a couple videos on, actually one video on LearnWake that's called Hillside Jumps, the perfect setup. And what I do is I make sure that people actually set up right. If they set up right, that's going to help them edge in better. Most of the time the mistakes are made when they edge out and while they're coasting, and then how they initiate their edge in. So that's the big part. If you get your setup right, then the swing back end's probably going to be better. I mean, that's a pretty broad question. But for heel side, one of the biggest mistakes that I see is when people edge out and they coast flat, but they coast tall. You should edge out, flatten off, sit down, and finish your coast in the seated position. And then once you're seated, then you slowly start your edge in. And then all the aggressive edging is mostly as you enter the trough of the wake, as you ride up the wake. That's where you want to be accelerating. You don't want to give a lot of speed and a lot of edge out beside the boat, because then it'll force you to go flat, and then you'll miss your pop. So, there's a lot of physics out there on the water, and you need to kind of get in the flow with those physics. Um, it's kind of hard to explain, but like when you push someone on a swing, you push them hard up, they go up, and then they swing back down naturally. Well, the same thing happens to you out on the water. If you edge out hard and aggressive, flatten out, and just sit there, eventually the boat will want to swing you back in. If you kind of get in the flow of that whole motion, if you swing out good, it'll swing you in good. All you really have to do is stand nice and tall through the wake, and you'll get good pop. You don't have to put a lot of effort and a lot of speed and a lot of lean. Basically, what we kind of preach at the wakeboard camp is if you're trying really hard and you're putting a lot of muscle into it, then you're probably doing it wrong. So it's a really smooth transition. It's a really flowy kind of edge, and like I said, all the edge is mostly in the trough and up the wake. Let's see, Jake, as new tricks wakeboarding evolves, do you instruct based on those tricks, like rails? Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I learn every day. I learn, sometimes I come up with new drills and stuff on the fly just to fix certain situations, and another example, we just released a video on LearnWake that's called Handle Pass Techniques, and the kind of the basic way to pass the handle was always horizontally with both palms facing down, and then you would turn the handle down, and then you would pass it like this, both palms up and back to you. But now what's happening is riders are trying to spin faster, and now they're turning the handle vertically, and they're passing sandwiched hand to hand with the handle kind of vertical like this, and it increases the margin of your error. So when you swing by, you have a bigger area to hit the handle and pass, and then when it's behind you, you actually pass like this as well, and you have a larger margin of area to kind of hit the handle as well. And it's more of a hand to hand, kind of sandwiching the handle like this, and it allows you to pass faster for like spins 540 and above. Um, we still teach a good foundation. We want people to learn how to pass I kind of call it the old school way, where you just have the handle horizontal, turn the handle down, palms up, palms down, for backside 180s and 360s, just so they get a good foundation. But when they start getting into the 540s and anything faster, that's when you kind of alter the way that you pass. You got to speed up. You got to speed up the way you pass. So, yeah, I mean, I'm learning every day. Um, if you stop learning, if you feel like you know everything, then it's just not a good attitude to have, I don't think. You you should always learn out on the water, regardless if you're riding or coaching, I feel. So I'm always trying to come up. I mean, even the coaches at the camp, we all collaborate and come up with new ways to coach, just to make it easier for people to learn and faster. So. Let's see. Who's your favorite rookie or upcoming rider? Oh wow, I'd have to say Bob Sovin. And the reason why is because he's got a great attitude. He's an amazing rider. Um, and man, he won every junior men's event this year. That's amazing. Um, so yeah, Bob Sovin would probably be my favorite rookie or upcoming rider. Boo! O-Town Dave. I'm also going to say Bob Sitchell. I mean, Bob Sitchell the two Bobs, man. Watch out for the two Bobs. I'm going to say Bob Sovin for the comp scene, and I'm going to say Bob Sitchell for the free ride scene. Bob Sitchell's riding really good. He's riding really stylish, doing heel sevens. I mean, he goes out, pops up, first trick, heel seven off the wake. He's landing switch heel seven, stuff like that. So, um, East Coast rider, good choice, good choice. I'm surprised most people say LaRich. Oh, I mean Jimmy's good, but I wouldn't call him a rookie. He's a he's a seasoned professional, even though he's still a rookie. But no, I mean Jimmy's awesome. He's an amazing rider. Let's see. Trip B. Doesn't he coach at the wakeboard camp? Yeah, Bob Sitchell. He does coach at the wakeboard camp. I see him every day. So, O-Town Dave. Balin Bob's a great rider, but he's cocky. Ah. everybody's got their opinion, right? Um, I think Bob Sullivan's got it. Both of them have a great attitude, I think. Boston. What is the difference between East and West Coast riding? Nowadays, it's not as distinct as it used to be. I mean, it used to be West Coast riders were spinners, East Coast riders were more, flippers. But now I mean, everybody fed off of each other. Now I think it's more the same. You know, everybody's doing the same stuff. Um, and and the thing is, a lot of the West Coast guys come out here a lot to ride. So um, I think they have, everybody has an influence on each other, and I think it's more. I don't think there's a difference like there used to be. Else, how do I keep my orientation when doing inverts? I always tell people when a flip is new, you can't really see objects. You can see colors. So whenever you do a flip, look for, everything's going to go by really fast and it's going to be a blur, but you'll be able to still see colors. So you have I don't, it depends on where you ride. The lake might be a different color. It might not be blue, it might be brown, but that's a distinct color you need to look for. And then you have a tree line, don't look for trees, look for the color of the trees, like the green, and then the distinct color of the sky, which is going to be, a blue or gray or whatever, however the conditions are on that day. But basically, you want to look for those distinct colors. Look for your paths. So when you do a back roll, the first thing you should see is the color of the sky. Next thing you should see is the tree line, and then the color of the water. As soon as you see the color of the water, that's when you got to make that stopping motion to halt your rotation. So that's my best advice: is look for colors, don't look for objects. And then as you get more consistent with the trick and the flip, then you'll start to see more clearly because your adrenaline's not pumping as much. You're more comfortable, and that's when you'll start actually seeing objects. So, um, Chris Smith, I can do switch half cab rolls off the kicker at OWC. I want to try a switch mode. What do I need to do? Is it weird? This is my first mode. I want to try. Um, what do I need to do? That's a tough one. A switch mode. My first question would be, can you do a switch hillside frontside 3, but without passing the handle? So basically, I would go. Chances are you're going off the kicker this way, so you're probably a goofy-footed rider. You're probably going off the kicker heel side. Am I right? If not, just do it the opposite of what I do. So basically, can you go off the kicker, do a heel side frontside 3, and land either blind, we call this the blind position, or cuffed? If you can't do that, I would try to learn that first, and then as you're falling from the half cab roll, you'll basically go to that same position as you land, um, and try to land it blind or cuffed. Um, and then if you hit the water and you keep falling, you can just quickly pass the handle, but that's what I would do. I would try to learn a switch ollie, like at the cable, a switch ollie frontside 3 without passing the handle. Or a switch heel side frontside 3 off the kicker without passing the handle, and try to just do them real low. But that'll help you a ton. It'll help you. It'll help you finish with the board first and not your upper body. Because if you try to finish that trick with your upper body first, you'll go out the front. So, um, switch mode. That's going to be a good first mode. That's a tough first mode. Um, Josh Leatherman. Just want to stop in and say thanks. After the last show, on here I got oh nice. Learning how to drift off axis 180s. That's cool. Yeah, mute, melon, all those are really fun tricks to do. Drifting is good. I mean, drifting is kind of wakeboarding in a nutshell. You're dealing with line tension. You're dealing with load on the line. A lot of tricks are based on being able to let your hips drift away and control that line tension. So that's a pretty good accomplishment. Melts, what's the best training I can do on the tramp? Um, the advice I always give is push yourself, like figure out where your goal trick is. So if my goal trick is a tantrum, I would learn every trick maybe 2 stages past that. So if my goal trick is a tantrum, I would learn, which is a backflip, I would learn a backflip with a 180, both clockwise and counterclockwise, or front side and back side. But then I would also learn a backflip with a 360, front side and back side, without the handle, with the handle, and just try to get ahead of yourself on the trampoline. So that way, if you can do a backflip 360, front side, back side, with the handle, without the handle, when you try to do just a regular backflip, um, it's going to be simple. You'll be able to do it with your eyes closed. So get ahead of yourself on the trampoline. That's my best advice. Like if for spins, if you want to learn a 360, learn a 720 on the trampoline. That way you'll be, I mean, one rotation is definitely going to be easier than two. You won't have to necessarily think about how to spin the trick on the water. You'll have to think about more technical things, but like how to get into better position to pass the handle and stuff like that. So, Stag, do you judge events? No, I've been asked a bunch of times, but I've been kind of trying to avoid that subject. Um, I, I don't necessarily like to be that guy. I just I like to help people learn. I don't want to judge them on how they ride. So maybe one day I might get my spot on the judges stand and judge some contests. We'll see. I don't know. But I've definitely been asked to do it. I've just been avoiding it. Ah. Melts, what is your opinion on protesting an event? Man, we had this question last show too. What is it with protesting an event? Um, I think you definitely should have your ducks in a line if you're gonna protest. Um, there better be a good reason. You know, and that's just a hard question to answer. I'm gonna avoid that question too, and we're gonna move on. Hopefully, you have a good reason to protest, because it's a it's supposed to be a fun event, and if someone did too many tricks or something like that, and you have a justification for why you're protesting, then that's fine. But the judges are definitely entitled to their opinions, so um, you just have to go about it politically correct. And I don't necessarily know how that is, but you don't want to go in with an attitude and all flared up and blah blah blah. You just want to talk calmly to the head judge and state your case, and then he'll definitely look over it. So, um, Boston, do you have sponsors for your camp, and who are they? The wakeboard camp. We have Malibu boats, Liquid Force wakeboards and equipment, straight line ropes and handles, um, Monster, LearnWake.com, obviously, thebookdvd.com, and I think that's it. Did I forget anybody? Sea-Doo? I think that's it. Let's see, next question. In your opinion, who is the best all-around rider in the world? Danny Harf, by a long shot. I'm a huge Danny Harf fan, so he's got a little bit of everything. He's just top of the line at everything. Great attitude, great rider. Um, super nice guy, pushing the limits of the sport constantly. I'm definitely a Danny Harf fan. Let's see. Melts, how do I know my proper rope length? That's a tough one. It really depends on the boat. Maybe you can type in what boat you're riding behind, and I can help you out with that. And then what tricks you're doing, because it really depends on the tricks, your skill level, and the boat, and how much weight you have in your boat. So, um, Melts, type in your setup, and I'll help you out with that. BMR. If I come to the camp, can Amber ride in the boat too? Yeah, I mean, if you come when she's in town, Amber rides the Endless Summer, so she's here, for our summer. But then when our winter starts, they have their summer in Australia, and she goes down to do the Australian Pro Tour. So in the winter, she's gone. She usually comes back in April, stays till about now October, November, and then takes off for 3 or 4 months, and then comes back. So. Yeah, definitely. Midsummer, she's gone a lot, but If you call ahead, you can definitely find out when she's going to be in town and ride in the boat with her. She's an amazing rider. Definitely pushing girls wakeboarding to another level, so that's awesome. O-Town Dave, are some boards more suited for air tricks than others? Continuous boards, definitely, and bigger fins. I mean, if they've got a lot of fin, and if the fins are close to the tip or tail, if they're moved away from the tip or tail, then they're not necessarily ideal for air tricks. You want the board to stay connected to the water, so like the fin needs to be actually moved back all the way, or kind of like this. You can see right here, I mean, there's only a quarter of an inch from the tip. So the last thing to leave the water is basically going to be the fin, not much of the board. We're actually making these fins on the humanoid boards with two positions. You can move them like an inch and a half forward if you want the board to release better off the wake. So you can unbolt it, put it in a different set of screws or a set of holes, and it'll give you a little quicker release off the wake if you want to spin, release spins better. And then if you want to go bigger, have it track more for like progressive edge, load and release style tricks, you'd ride the fins a little further back. So same set of screws, just unbolt them, move the fins forward, and you get a different type of release. But yeah, I mean, faster boards are always better for sharper edge boards, faster boards, bigger fins, and fins closer to the tail. Probably my best recommendations for air tricks. Um, let's see, Melts, Taiga, some ballast on the front and back. Um, you could probably, depending on your boats, I mean, you obviously have to ride faster if you want to go longer. So, still depends on what tricks you're learning. Just as a generalization, 70 to 75 feet is pretty standard. What we do is we use that as a standard, like 70 for intermediate riders is probably a standard wake-to-wake length. And then we use a longer rope to teach and a shorter rope to teach. So I call them learning lengths. And then the 70 or 75 is your free ride length. That's the rope length that you ride all the time, and then you use the other two to learn. Um, so I would say if you're anywhere around there, 70 to 75, if you're really jacking your wake up, you have to ride faster, and that's going to allow you to ride a longer rope, 80 feet. But if you're just learning your first inverts, your first 360s, 70 to 75 feet is a good rope length. If you go out longer, you're on a bigger arc, you're going to have to deal with more line tension, and it's just going to make it harder to learn handle passes and stuff like that. Stag, is your camp year-round? Yes. We close for like 1 week during Christmas, and usually because it's slow and we all want to just enjoy the Christmas holidays with our family, and that's usually it. We're open the whole rest of the year. We even have we're running kind of a Thanksgiving special. So if you guys don't have anything to do on Thanksgiving, maybe your family's out of town and you're going to be by yourself and you want to come down to wakeboard camp and enjoy Thanksgiving dinner with us at the wakeboard camp, we're going to cook a big feast. We're going to coach all week and do the Thanksgiving week. So, excuse me. O-Town Dave, I ride a Murray 08 140 and I find it hard to set a hard edge. My father-in-law has a Motive 144 and it seems like it can dig it a lot harder. The Motive has two really small molded fins and usually a bigger middle fin. The 08 Murray is the other way around. It just has the outside fins and no middle fin. It depends on the size of your father-in-law's fin. That's a tough question without seeing the boards. 144 board, it's a bigger board too. I mean, it's probably going to be a lot easier. It's got a longer edge in the water, so you're probably going to be able to dig a lot harder. The other thing it has is, if I remember the boards correctly, the Murray is through the center has no features. The Motive has a channel, and that channel acts like a big fin all the way throughout the whole side of the board. It's kind of like the Murray. If you find a picture on the internet or look at your board or something like that, the Murray has nothing through here. If I remember right, I could be wrong. It's pretty flat, but then it has the fins here. So basically all you're getting is a traction from here, where the Motive has, right down the edge, it has a channel all the way through here and all the way through here. So that, I mean, when water hits that, that's going to add traction. So maybe that's why. That makes a big difference in boards. When you have a board with hardly any features in the middle, you're relying on just the edge of the board and the fins. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe you're looking for a board that has more features in the middle that will grab the water and actually give you more traction through the center. Because if you're at the cable and you're I don't know if you're at the cable, but if you're at the cable or behind the boat and you're wanting to edge better and load the line better, you're using actually more of the center of the boards rather than the fin anyway. So some more traction in the center would definitely be a better option. Chris Smith, is flex just a phase? No, I think it's going to be around for a long time, especially with the growth of cable parks. And I mean, it's just fun to ride. I rode a flex board the other day. I'm more of a stiff fan, but I rode a flex board the other day and was doing tail presses out in the flats and just had a really good time on it. So I think it's definitely not a phase. I think it's going to be around for a long time. I think there's enough people that like it and enough uses for it in wakeboarding. So I think it'll be around. Let's see, Boston. I'm riding switch a lot better after your last show's tips. Thanks for that. Cool, no problem, man. Yeah, the switch speeding up switch progress video on learnwake.com that we just put up a few weeks ago. It's really unorthodox, out of the ordinary, but man, it really helps people get better at switch fast. So use your free week coupon code StokeMeter and try learnwake.com out for a week and check that video out. It's called Speeding Up Switch Progress. StokeMeter is the coupon code. Let's see. The Motive is a lot thinner. The Murray is a lot wider. Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of difference too. Wider board is definitely harder. I mean, think of how a thin slalom ski, you can roll that over and set an edge because it's narrow. So a narrower board is definitely going to be a lot more edgier. BMR, Boston brings up a good point. I feel retarded riding switch. Focus on handle, body position, but find it hard to keep my board from coming back around to regular when I try to edge. Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to get my my thought process going weird. Yeah, it's kind of like what I try not to teach too much technique with switch. I try to speed up people's comfort, more or less, because basically it's not that you don't know how to ride switch, it's that you're not comfortable riding switch. So you have to almost push your comfort with speed, and that's basically what that video teaches. It kind of pushes your level of comfort with speed, with some like whipping during turns. We do it in a safe way though, so it's freaky, but you kind of have to scare yourself, because the more you scare yourself, the more you build your comfort level. You know, if you edge through a turn switch at 30 miles an hour and do that over and over again, every single time that you do it, you're going to get a little bit more comfortable each time. You can also bump the speed up as you get comfortable. If you're comfortable with 40 miles an hour, you know, riding across the wakes back and forth at 21 is going to feel a lot easier. Excuse me. A little stuffy. So yeah, you basically want to push your level of comfort. Push your tolerance for speed is the phrase I was looking for. DFTR Josh, what shades are you rocking? Oh man, if you go to the Arnett collection, I mean I have a lot of them. So Um, oh man, what are the names of? I should know this off the top of my head. I'm gonna look real quick. I have a favorite pair. My my favorite all-time pair are called the Lockdowns, and they're wireframes. But um, my brand manager would probably be mad at me for promoting those. We're supposed to be promoting other ones. So hold on one second. There it goes. Melts. What would be the next trick after a back roll? I'm just waiting for the camp or for the website to load up. So I'll answer this question while we're waiting, or not. There we go. Next trick after a back roll would be either a tantrum or a toe side back roll or a toe side front roll. Um, it's like I said earlier in the show. I find myself coaching a lot more people um, and teaching them toe side back rolls before even back rolls and tantrums. Tantrum has a complicated edge change that is kind of hard for a lot of riders to comprehend. Toe side back roll, all you have to do is edge in, let go with one hand, throw your head back, and just do a straight backflip, just like if you were back flipping off a diving board or something like that. It's basically a back layout, like a lot of people learn on the trampoline. So you can learn it one wake, one-handed, at slower boat speeds on a longer rope, and it's definitely an easy trick to learn. So toe side back roll definitely becoming more one of my favorites to teach before a lot of other flips. Okay, I'm gonna find those shades that I like so much. They're called the chamber. And then let me find those wires that I really like. The infamous are always a fan favorite. Those are probably my second favorite. Haley, what's up? Thanks for coming on. I thought you guys were gonna come over and crash this party. If this is Haley Smith. Perrier, what can I get more, or where can I get more info about your Thanksgiving camp? This email address, info@wakeboardcamp.com. There you go. Hit us up. It's gonna be a fun week. Nice. Cool. She has the frenzies, huh? Those are good shades. Yeah, mine are the lockdowns. I love the lockdowns. Lockdowns, chambers, and infamous. Whoops. Awesome. O-Town Dave, I've noticed in videos that with a large wake, your angles change from having a smaller wake. Our wake is small behind a 78 knot T. 78 knot T, nice. That's a classic. So it seems like you have to cross that. I have to cross at a 90 to wake. No, I don't necessarily agree with that because it depends on the trick. Like when you're doing a back roll, you have to cross the wake even more past 90 when you take off because you want to edge the board away. If you want to go really big out into the flats, you have to edge towards 90. Now, if you want to do just a nice little wake to wake jump with a big approach and just a lot of legs, then you can take less angle, like more of a 45 to 55 degree angle in towards the wake. So it really depends on what trick you're doing. Um, Not necessarily what type of boat or what type of wake you have, I think. Um, Agree to disagree. Is that wake pretty steep though, or is it on the mellower side? Because I know the 84, like the 84, 85 nautique was really steep, um, and it was actually hard to edge perpendicular because you felt like you were blowing the nose of the board through the top of the wake. So I'm curious to your wake shape, if it's mellow or if it's steep. Boston, what is the best way to distribute ballast? I actually talked about this in the bulletin board of learnwake.com with one of our members, and in our video series, the book, we split it up kind of 40-60. We split the boat in half, which we should have split it up into thirds, I think, because most boats are V drives these days, and you have like a sitting area in the middle, an area in the front, and then your compartments in the back. So if you think of if you split the boat up into thirds, that's the best way to do it. And the way I explain it is, if you have the boat with no weight, and you're riding across the lake and you like the shape of the wake, and you want to just grow the shape of the wake, then weight the boat evenly. So basically, you just want to push it down into the water without putting more in the front, more in the back. You just want to push it down evenly. Now, if you feel that the wake is too mellow to start and you want to make it steeper, that's when you start swaying from, into even weighting, and you go more in the back to make it steeper, more in the front to make it more mellow. So 33, 34, 33%, 34%, 33% would be even. And then if you start like moving that either way, that's kind of how you adjust the weight. So it's hard to say. I mean, it depends on the starting the starting shape of your wake. Um, Otonde is steep but not meaty, nothing like a 2001. So yeah, 2001 is a really steep wake. Brian, I've been trying to learn a tantrum, and every time I don't come all the way around, it hurts my ankles. What tips do you have for that? Oh man, yeah, under rotating tantrums is probably the worst feeling ever. Ankle crushers for sure. Um, my question to you is, do you do backside reentry ollie pops? So I'm going to type that out, just so you see what the trick name is. Um, this this is basically a trick where you sit on the face of the wake, and you sit at the bottom with one hand on the handle, so you're squared up the wake. You drift up to the top, and you do a big ollie pop off the top and land back at the bottom. Basically, what you're doing when you do that is you're practicing a tantrum pop. um, so if you're not very good at those, then that's probably the problem with your pop. You're probably not getting enough pop to complete your rotation. So, um, Jake, dumpers are actually something different. Dumpers are when you actually turn the boat. Backside ollie, reentry ollie pops are are just when the boat's going straight and you just drift up the wake and then pop off the top and land back at the bottom. A dumper is when you actually take an approach. The boat driver actually turn. Well, this is what we call dumpers. Um, you actually take an approach, and then right as you start your approach, the boat driver does a little turn, and it kicks the wake up steeper, and it trips you better. So that's another alternative that you can use. Another little tool that you can use to get more pop on your tantrums to rotate better. But what I would do is I would do one-handed reentry ollie pops a bunch before your tantrum attempts, so you pop off, and you want to make sure that when you do them, you're in line. So basically, you'd have one hand on the handle, you'd be in line with the wake and the rope, and then you would pop in this position. You don't want to start with two hands up and go up the wake with two hands. You want to start one-handed, and you want to start squared up. So looks like Ryan put a YouTube. I'll open this up. Check it out. We'll do a little analyzation right here. Um, all right, that's actually not that bad. But yeah, you're not tripping yourself enough. And the reason, one of the big reasons I think, or I see two things that you could fix. Number one is while you're coasting out in the flats, I would sit down more, get into a more of a seated position. Because if you're in more of a seated position, you're able to switch your edge better. If you're taller and you edge taller, it's harder to switch your edge. So after you edge out, flatten off and sit down more into a seated position like you would do for like a really seated wake jump. That'll help you flatten off and switch and trip better. The other thing I see is you're holding on with two hands too long, and it doesn't let your shoulders square up, and it doesn't let you get your chest over your toes before you flip back. So basically, you're going up the wake with two hands and then trying to square up, and that's why it looks like you have a lot of line tension and a lack of rotation. So tantrum is a one-handed trick. If you look at a textbook tantrum, um, that your backhand should be off the handle before you get to the bottom of the wake. Um, One thing you can do to make sure that you square up and you get that trip is actually do one-handed approaches. So edge out all the way, flatten out, let go with your backhand, and try to edge in hard with just one hand on the handle, square up, and then flip. It's a little hard to edge in that way, but it's a great way to train yourself to square up better and to trip better. But you're not far off. I mean, that tantrum looks pretty good. You're just holding on too long. Um, you're not far off. You're letting go halfway up the wake. It's not quite enough. If you trip yourself more, you'll be in good shape. Another question I have for you, Ryan, is what edge do you think you should leave the wake on for a tantrum? So, uh, quick little trivia question for you, and this will help you understand why you're not tripping. Okay, good. I don't know why I keep typing. I can just talk. um, you're actually in your video. It looks like you're leaving from your heel side though. If you get over your toes um, and take off from your toes, that'll help you trip more too. But it actually looks like like the board when you're coming in. It looks like the board is going like this, but still leaving from the heel side instead of doing this and then going over. So you just need to plant more on your toe side and get yourself tripped more. Haley, Amber is bigger from doing one-handed tantrums. Oh, Amber's arm is bigger. I read that wrong. Yeah, but it helped fix her whirlybird, didn't it? Or her tantrums, or whatever. Yes. Let's see, next question. BMR, I ride the Ronix 1 and have been wanting to try a flex board. What can I expect when I get on a flex board? It's gonna feel a little strange. It's got a little slower response when you hit the wake. Like when you pop, you'll probably feel a little bit of delay um, because it will flex. It should give you pop, but it's just gonna be your timing might be a little bit off. It's also gonna be a little weirder through turns since it will flex through the turns instead of staying rigid. So those are a couple things that you might experience. Your ollies, same thing. Your timing might be off because the board's going to flex. But once you get used to it, it might just take a couple rides to get used to the timing, adjust your timing according to the board. Let's see, melts. Do you do this regular schedule show? Yes, yes I do. I do this every Tuesday of every month at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So next month, same bat time, same batch place. I'll be here. Let's see, Stag. How long are your camps? A week? Yes. They're a week long. You basically a normal student arrives on Sunday, rides Monday through Friday, and they leave on Saturday. But we get people that stay longer and shorter. We'll basically accommodate anything. Big Spence, what's up, man? Long time no see. Let's see. Thanks for coming on the show. Big Spence, awesome photographer. Let's see. I met Haley at. Yep, Haley does rock. Boston, what mags do you subscribe to? What is your fave? Well, of course, both the wakeboard magazines, Wakeboard Magazine and Alliance Wake. And then two golf magazines, believe it or not. Golf Digest and Golf Magazine. That's what I like to do in my free time is play golf. So uh, I'm always browsing through there. Through the golf magazines have actually given me a lot over the years. Have given me a lot of ideas on instruction and drills to do with people out on the water too. So you guys actually have golf to thank for a lot of the instruction that I do. Let's see. What's your handicap? Right now I'm right at around an 8, 7 or 8 handicap. Um, hopefully hopefully I can play more and get that down to around a 2 or 3 or a scratch. That's my goal. I'd love to be a scratch golfer at some point in my life. But right now I get to play maybe once a week, if that. So hopefully I get some more playing time in this winter. Boston, who's your favorite golfer? Mel's, how often do you get to play golf? I play, like I said, about once a week, um, if that. Sometimes that doesn't happen because I get busy, but my favorite golfer is, I mean, it's hard not to like Tiger. But if I was to choose someone else other than Tiger, I'd have to say I like watching Sean O'Hare a lot. He's got a great swing, and I like uh, Freddie Couples, man. He's silky smooth. And then I'm gonna have to say, hopefully my buddy Steve Lawson is watching because Steve Lawson, he's one of my favorite golfers to watch. If he's not, then ignore that statement. Boston Tiger. I'm kind of ashamed to admit it. Yeah, and Tiger's just amazing. O-Town Dave, does the higher angle? Yeah, let's get back on wakeboard talk. Uh, does the higher angle of the rope at the cable park help learn some tricks better? Definitely. What they're doing at the projects with the System 2, the Sysitech System 2 cable, it's the inline cable, is they're using, at the cable park they used to call it the Indian line, where they'd shorten the rope where it wouldn't even really touch the water. You'd have to kind of grab up to it like this. They're doing that on the System 2 cable, and they're teaching people super fast. And it's because the rope is pointed straight up. It just pulls it. You don't even really have to load and release the trick. You just edge the trick and you get to an end point where it just kind of pulls you up into the air. And then you slowly lengthen the rope and learn how to do it yourself. But yeah, the angle of the rope definitely does help you get better pops. So good question. They're starting to build cables tighter and higher because of that exact question. Um, Higher the cable, the more straight up pull. If you can, a little hint at the cable, if you can, get the shorter rope. If you're trying to learn air tricks, like if you're waiting in line and you see one rope that's 2 foot shorter than the other rope, you might want to let someone pass by you so they get the longer rope, like however many ropes it is in line. If it's 3 back, let 2 people go so you get the shortest rope, and that'll help you learn air tricks. Um, Stag, do you have humanoid shirts? Yes. See right here, humanoid. You can actually order them online right now, Humanoid Wake. So if you want to go there and buy apparel, it is up and available right now. Just go to the store. You can buy the hats. Like this is a humanoid hat, Humanoid Wake, fitted hat. So we do have apparel. We're just trying to get those boards out. Do you ever ride a foil? No, I've never ridden a foil. It looks fun. Looks crazy. It looks like you're just kind of floating and there's no friction. But no, I've never ridden a foil. I noticed my ollies are a lot better at the park than behind the boat. So, um, well, cable parks typically go a lot slower than the boat. And since you're going slower, the water's a lot softer. So it's a lot easier to get the tail of the board deeper in the water at the cable park than it is behind the boat. When you're traveling faster, the water's harder, and it's a lot harder to get. It takes a lot more strength to get the tail of the board deeper in the water. So that might be your problem. That might be the difference. Um, Seems like at the cable you only go about 18 miles an hour. Behind the boat you usually go about 21 or better, 20, 22. And I mean that's that's a big difference. It's a 4 mile an hour difference, so that might be your problem, or it might be the difference in your ollies. It takes a lot more strength. Behind the boat, you might want to do like 2 bounces, where at the cable you can just do 1 bounce. It'll help you get more momentum and help you get the board deeper in the water. Boston, do you guys teach wake surfing? Yes, we do. We teach wake skating, wake surfing, and wakeboarding. Mostly wakeboarding, but if people get tired, um, we definitely offer wake surfing and teach people how to set up their boats and ride waves. It's a really good learning tool for wakeboarding too, because you have to be more sensitive to your movement, um, more twitchy, so to speak. Like if you fall off balance, you got to react real quick, real fast reaction to your movement, and that definitely helps your wakeboarding. Town Dave, so it's more in leg strength? Yeah, not necessarily. It's more in rhythm and timing. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of strength involved. Um, but like I said, you can do like a pre-bounce to get your momentum going, so that way you get the tail deeper. But yeah, there's definitely a lot more strength involved when you're going faster. Flag. Hey, just got here. Dang, missed it. Is there a replay? Yeah, there's definitely gonna be a replay. Uh, oh, cool. Man, that hour went by fast. So, so I think that's it for tonight, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining me. Oh, last question. Boston, do you have video capability at the camp? We used to do video, but it's really hard for us to do video for as many campers that we have running through there every week. If you want to bring your video camera, you're more than welcome to, and we'll analyze your videos at camp. But we do not do video like we don't have video cameras that we bring out every day, but we have cameras or we have campers that bring cameras all the time, and we help them analyze their videos for sure. So, well, cool. All right. Well, I guess that concludes our show for this evening. Thanks everyone for stopping by, and we'll see you next month on the first Tuesday of what's next month? November already? Wow. So yeah, check out learnwake.com. Use that free coupon code. StokeMeter is the coupon code. Check out humanoidwake.com, thewakeboardcamp.com, all that stuff. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.